A Democratic senior whip, Congresswoman Debbie Dingell of Michigan. It's great to have you on the show. Your hometown of Dearborn has the largest mosque in North America, large Muslim population. How on edge? What are you hearing from your constituents in light of the massacre in New Zealand?
They're very scared. I was at many of the mosques in my district over the weekend and a vigil at the University of Michigan when there was actually a gun scare. People are scared. This community has been targeted for a long time, but what's also, I think it's time to stand up. I think some of the younger people are tired of feeling targeted, but we need to take what happened in New Zealand and not forget that it happened in a temple in October here in this country, and the rabbis were there with us on Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. And I think that people want to stand up to this hate and this fear that's dividing the country, and they want people to know who they are, and they want to be able to go to a mosque or a temple or a Catholic church and worship and not be afraid.
Yamiche.
Organizations and experts have said over and over again that hate crime is on the rise. What do you think the federal government and more precisely the Trump administration can do to tackle that issue?
What do I think? I think the Trump administration, I think every member of Congress, every senator, every House member and senator, and every person needs to start to stand up to this hatefulness. I think social media, which was initially a tool to unite us, has become a tool of absolutely ugly victory. Rick was feeding into this hate and fear is okay. And yes, I think that the White House and yes, I think leaders in the Congress have a responsibility to stand up and say enough's enough. But I think every human being's got to start to take responsibility for standing up to this, because that's what's happening. Our hearts are hardening. We are thinking it's okay to just use this rhetoric that our young people are growing up thinking this is okay.
So, Debbie, your late husband, John Dingell, over the course of a long and historic career in Congress, stood for equity, for fairness, for helping those who need help the most. And now you just addressed partially the language of our time coming from the White House. But as you move around the district now, the same district that your husband represented, what do you hear from people? Has the language of the president, this language of intolerance, of division, do they talk about it? Has it sunk in? What's their reaction to it?
So I'm going to answer this honestly. And as you know, I told you 2 years ago, President Trump could become President Trump, and nobody believed me. And there are parts of the district that I think we got to find a way to talk to each other. John also used to say we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And there are people that are they are scared. They're worried about their jobs. Look, let's be honest. You've got union workers that don't think that anybody cares about them, and they still think that he cares about them. Democrats did a terrible job of talking about trade. But you also see these same people disturbed. They work in the factories with their Muslim brothers and sisters. They know them. They don't like what they're seeing. So I think there's almost schizophrenia some days about who. People just want somebody to care about them. They want to have a safe and secure job that pays enough to live in a decent neighborhood. So, you know, that's what I'm hearing.
Congresswoman, it's Katty Kay here. A couple of weeks ago, the House passed a resolution condemning hate. Some of your Republican colleagues actually voted against that. But I'm wondering whether within the Democratic Party, all the discussion and the argument around that resolution meant that it resolved things in the party around this issue, or is it just highlighted further splits in the party?
We are not a split party. I think there was a lot of discussion, and I was someone that thought that this needed to be broader, and unfortunately New Zealand's an example of why it needed to be broader. I live with that hate rhetoric every single day when I'm home and in the community that I live in. But we are all united against hate. And just like the Republican Party, we have a lot of different opinions, but so does the country. And we bring us into one, fighting for working men and women every day.
All right, Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, thank you very much for being on the